There's a moment you replay. You know the one. Something you said or didn't say, a door you didn't walk through, a person you didn't call back in time. You've run it 1,000 times. Different words, different choices, a different ending. And every single time, some part of you feels a small, sharp sting, as if the moment is happening again, right now, for the first time. That sting has a name. And it's not just an emotion. It's a punishment your brain is administering to you on purpose. In 2005, neuroscientist Giorgio Corcelli ran an experiment that put regret under a brain scanner for the first time. Participants played a simple gambling game, choosing between two options, then watching what would have happened if they'd chosen differently. When people discovered the road not taken would have paid off better, a specific region of their brain lit up. The orbitofrontal cortex. Not just active, hyperactive. Firing in a pattern distinct from ordinary disappointment. This wasn't sadness about a bad outcome. This was something more specific and more brutal. Your brain wasn't just registering that things didn't go well. It was comparing what happened to what could have happened, and then making you feel the difference as pain. Think about it. Disappointment happens when reality falls short of what you hoped for. Regret only happens when your brain constructs an alternate version of events that never occurred, and then punishes you for the gap between that fiction and your reality. You are, in a very literal sense, being tortured by a world that was never real.
Weird, right? Evolution built a mechanism specifically to make you suffer over things that didn't happen. But here's the thing. That mechanism isn't a design flaw. It might be one of the most sophisticated learning tools your brain has ever built. Psychologist Neil Rose has spent decades studying what researchers call counterfactual thinking, the mental act of constructing alternatives to what actually happened. His research found that most people don't regret the embarrassing things they did nearly as much as the things they didn't do. The party they skipped, the relationship they didn't pursue, the risk they didn't take. Rose found this pattern held remarkably consistent across cultures, ages, and circumstances. Regret of inaction tends to grow larger over time, while regret of action tends to fade. That's strange until you think about why. An action, even a failed one, gets resolved. You did the thing, it went badly, your brain can file it away as a completed event with a known outcome. But an inaction stays open forever. There's no ending to rewrite because nothing happened. Your brain keeps returning to it, generating new alternate versions because the file was never closed. In 1995, psychologists Victoria Medvec, Scott Mady, and Thomas Gilovich studied something almost absurd on its surface: Olympic medalists. Specifically, how happy each medalist appeared in photographs immediately after their event. You would assume silver medalists, having placed higher than bronze medalists, would appear happier. The opposite was true. Bronze medalists smiled more, celebrated harder, looked by every measurable metric more satisfied with their outcome.
The reason comes down entirely to the counterfactual each athlete's brain constructed. Bronze medalists compared themselves to the very real possibility of winning no medal at all. Silver medalists compared themselves to the agonizingly close alternate reality where they won gold. Same podium, same achievement, completely different internal experience because their brains were measuring against different imagined worlds. So what does that mean for you? Every regret you carry is your brain running its own private Olympics, constantly comparing your actual life against a version of events that exists only in your imagination. And the closer that imagined alternative feels, the sharper the punishment. This is why almost missing a flight hurts more than missing it by hours. This is why losing by 1 point feels worse than losing by 20. Your brain isn't measuring the objective distance between what happened and what didn't. It's measuring how easily it can imagine the alternative and making you pay for how close it feels. And that's kind of beautiful in an unsettling way, because this entire punishing system exists for a single evolutionary purpose: to make you better at predicting outcomes the next time a similar choice appears. Regret is expensive by design. Evolution needed you to feel it sharply enough that you would change your behavior without needing to actually suffer the real consequence twice. The pain is the price of the lesson, paid in advance, so you never have to learn it the hard way in reality. But here's what changes once you understand this. The moment you replay isn't punishing you because you're broken. It's punishing you because your brain is doing exactly the job it evolved to do, using a mechanism so old it predates language, so precise it can be measured with a scanner, and so universal it showed up identically in Olympic athletes standing on a podium and gamblers sitting in a laboratory decades apart. You are not weak for still thinking about it. You are running one of the most sophisticated pieces of cognitive machinery your species has ever developed. It just happens to feel, from the inside, exactly like being haunted. There's a moment you replay. You know the one. And now you know something else. It was never really about that moment at all. It was your brain, quietly building you a better version of yourself, one imagined alternative at a time, using the only currency it's ever known how to charge: pain.
If this video changed how you carry that moment, share it with someone who's still replaying something they can't let go of, with someone who needs to hear that the haunting isn't weakness, it's a lesson being paid for in advance. Like this video if it made you see regret a little differently today. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because the next question goes just as deep. And drop a comment below. Tell me about the moment you replay. What did it teach you, even if it didn't feel like a lesson at the time? This channel exists because of people who stay till the end. So thank you, genuinely. See you in the next one.